Hello everyone. In this part of lecture, we will learn more about the GMP principles and its components in general. Now let's start. Now, as we know, the GMP guidelines is a system that is developed to produce products that are consistently produced and safe to be used by the consumers. The rules and interpretations may differ from country to country and change frequently. However, the basic components among the GMPs are similar to one another. Now, let's have a look at the GMP's principle. The principles of GMP are: the manufacturing authorization is responsible to ensure that the products are fit for their intended use and comply with the regulations. Most importantly, the products must not place patients or consumers at risk due to insufficient safety, quality or efficacy. These objectives is the responsibilities of the whole management system, which includes the senior management and the participation of all staffs, suppliers and distributors. The objective can be attained through the design and implementation of the quality system incorporating good manufacturing practice and also the quality risk management. In GMP, almost everything should be fully documented and monitored. In all, the quality system should be resourced with competent personnel, suitable sufficient premises, equipment and facilities. Although the components of GMP is slightly dissimilar across different GMPs, their key essence is basically the same. In our lecture, we are using the PICS Guide to GMP for medicinal products as an example. This GMP guideline is applied in the production of pharmaceutical products in our country, Malaysia. We are going to have a general overview of the GMP components onwards. Now, let's start with the first component, the pharmaceutical quality system. The pharmaceutical quality system stands by the four main pillars. The GMP, which is a part of the quality management that ensures that products produced consistently and monitored. The quality control, which concerns the sampling, specifications and testing. The product quality review, which functions to verify the consistency of the products and to initiate process improvements. And finally, the quality risk management, which systematically assess, control, communicate and review any posed risks to the quality of the product. Now, let's move on to the second GMP component, the personnel. The personnel subtopic discusses on the key personnel and their responsibilities, their trainings, the personal hygiene, and also guidelines for the appointment of consultants. The GMP guidelines had outlined the responsibilities of several key personnel. The authorized person are appointed to ensure each batch of product is in compliance with national regulations and in accordance with marketing authorization. Meanwhile, the job scope of the head of production covers the tasks of ensuring that the products are produced and stored according to the documents, to approve any instructions regarding operations, and to ensure appropriate validation process are carried out, and also to ensure that personnel under his department receive sufficient trainings. On the other hand, the head of quality control have the responsibilities of approving or rejecting materials related to the manufacturing based on the specifications, To ensure necessary testing are carried out and recorded. To approve specs, sampling instructions and tests methods. And also to approve and monitor contract analyst. Next, we'll take a look at the trainings. The training of personnel is important in ensuring the successful implementation of GMP. In a manufacturing organization, the management should provide trainings for all personnel who will enter production, storage or the control labs. The training must also be provided to new personnel on his duty besides the basic training on the quality system and the GMP. Personnel that work in hazardous areas should be given specific trainings. It is also important to restrict visitors or untrained personnel from the production, storage or lab areas. Next, is the personal hygiene. Now, personal hygiene in manufacturing, especially in food or medicinal products, is very important in curbing any risk of cross-contaminations. In the GMP guideline under the personnel hygiene subsection, several points had been outlined. The detailed hygiene program should be established to all personnel. All personnel should receive medical checkups upon recruitment. No person with infectious disease or open lesions should be engaged in the manufacturing. Every personnel entering the manufacturing area must wear proper protective garments. Eating, drinking, chewing or smoking materials should be banned from the production and storage areas. Direct contact between the operator's hands should be avoided as much as possible. All personnel should be instructed to use the hand-washing facilities. Next component is the premises and equipment. Specific guidance on 4 types of premises had been laid out in the GMP guideline. These premises includes the production areas, storage areas, quality control areas and the ancillary areas. In general, the premises should adhere to the following requirements. The premises should be designed to prevent any potential occurrences of cross-contamination. Some products that may pose risk such as allergen may need a dedicated area. Premises should be laid out in a logical manner according to the sequence of process, to avoid cross-contamination or confusion. The interior surfaces such as wall, floorings, ceilings, should be smooth and free from cracks. They should also be designed to be easily cleaned and disinfected. Pipeline and ventilators should be able to be reached from outside of the premise for maintenance without going inside the production areas. The production, storage, QC areas should be well ventilated and well lit. Animal houses should be isolated from the other areas with its own separate entrance and air facilities. QC labs should be separated from the production areas. And ancillary areas such as toilets and shower should also be separated from the production and storage areas. Meanwhile, equipment used in the manufacturing process are required to be suitably designed for its intended use. It should be easily and thoroughly cleaned. Parts of equipment that is in contact with the products should not be made of reactive, additive or absorptive materials. All balances and measuring equipment must be timely calibrated and checked. All calibration activities must be recorded. Pipework should be labeled to indicate its content and, if applicable, indicate the direction of the flow. Pipes carrying distilled, deionized water must be sanitized accordingly. And any defective equipment should be removed from the production and QC labs. The fourth components are the documentations. There are two types of documentations in the GMP. These are the instruction or direction type and the reports or records. The documents that are of the instruction type are the Site Master File, a document that describes all the GMP-related activities. The specifications, where detailed description of product or materials that needed to be conformed to. This will be the basis to quality evaluation. Manufacturing formula, processing, packaging and testing. The detailed instructions of the elements. The SOPs, which give directions on performing a specific task. The protocols, instructions for performing and recording discrete operations. Technical agreement, the contract between contract givers and acceptors. Another class of documents is the reports or records. The documents under this type are the records, certificate of analysis and the reports. The fifth component is the production. Generally, the section on production in the GMP guideline discusses on the practices that emulate good conducts. In this section, it mentioned that all production activities should be performed and supervised by competent personnel. Besides that, all handling of activities related to the production must be done according to the written procedure. All incoming activities must be checked upon receipt. Careful handling of dry materials that may disseminate dust, especially those of hazardous materials. All materials involved in the production must be labeled. Any occurrences of deviations, if unavoided, should be approved by a competent personnel. Finished product must be evaluated and quarantined before release. And any rejected product must be clearly marked. Well, that's the end of part 1 of the GMP components. We will cover the rest of the components in the next and final video. Thanks.